The National Tourism Development Plan has divided the Philippines into, in effect, about 21 gateways and about 78 different clusters. Basically, a cluster is a group of touristic sites built around a port or a gateway, like an airport or a seaport. That's the general plan, 21 different sites. And of course, we began in 2011 with a campaign that was rooted in a basic truth: the Filipinos' unique ability to allow visitors to participate in their joy. It's called More Fun in the Philippines. And we found out later on that the biggest fans of the Philippines, as a result of this campaign, were the Filipino people themselves. When it was launched in media, the campaign got 89 million hits. In 2012, we were the only country in the region to increase vacation-related searches, and we trended worldwide. Its unique, one of its unique claims is that the phrase "it's more fun in the Philippines" is a regular slogan even in presidential speeches. There are 70,000 versions, or memes as they call them, on the internet of "It's More Fun in the Philippines." The versions you see on the screen were generated by the people. They were not generated by the ad agency. And of course, advertising materials have since graduated from phase 1 to the left of the screen, just focusing on the Philippines, to phase 2 with destination-specific advertising: Boracay, Davao, Manila, Albay, etc. And advertising materials, of course, were directed even at local markets. So what are the results? As of 2014, we have 4.83 million arrivals. And as I always say, immediately you follow that with domestic travelers. Remember how I told you that the Filipinos were the first to fall in love with their country? Well, here is proof of that. Last year, 54.6 million domestic travelers were counted. We have exceeded our target for 2015 in 2014. And it looks like we will overshoot the 56 million target by 2016. The country is now, it prompted the DOT to revise the 2016 domestic target to 56.1 million. The second most important statistic is income. As the President warned me at the start, tourism is not about counting the number of people coming out of an airplane. That's only one and probably the least important statistic. The next most important statistic is actually income. And in terms of income for international tourism receipts, international receipts increased from 135.5 billion in 2010 to 274.6 billion in 2014, exceeding the 2014 target itself of 269.9 billion. The result of that is, next to the exports of processing services and semiconductors, inbound tourism now ranks third among the Philippines' biggest export items in 2014. Please note that this overtakes electronic data processing and principal agricultural products. In other words, as an export business, tourism is now the third largest export business of the Philippines, overtaking even agriculture itself. Why is this significant at this point, especially with respect to gender? Everyone knows in the Philippines that if there is one industry where women are a dominant force, it is tourism. The growth of tourism is the growth of gender equality in the Philippines. Domestic tourism receipts are a different picture and should be looked at thusly. Domestic tourism receipts showed a dramatic increase from 713.8 billion pesos in 2010 to 1.469 trillion in 2014. Once again, this exceeds our 2014 domestic target. Moreover, tourism now accounts for 16% of total household final consumption expenditure. This is an incredible figure, considering where it was just a few years ago. Now, the next relevant figure is this chart that shows most tourism expenditures come from accommodation services and shopping of tourism goods in 2014. And if our friends from abroad will agree, this part of it, which is shopping, will probably change very dramatically in the next few years, because the Philippines is slowly but surely becoming a major shopping mecca for this part of the world. And then, by far, the most important statistic happens next, and that is employment. We now have 4.7 million, nearly 4.8 million people directly, I repeat, directly employed in tourism. The most important of the three metrics is the number of jobs that we create. With the growth of the tourism industry comes the creation of more jobs for people. Jobs where there were no such jobs before. Underground river boat guide, Mount Hamigita trail guide. These were not jobs that existed before. We needed to make our people realize that tourism should be seen as a business and a major source of livelihood in our country. Our tourism industry share of industries and employment to total employment is now at 12.5%. This accounts for 12.5% of total employment for the Philippines in 2014. That means that for every 1,000 people employed in the country, 125 individuals already belong to the tourism industry. And that breaks out this way. The distribution of employment in tourism industries says that the biggest chunk is in accommodation and food and beverage and passenger transport. Mind you, this is direct employment. It does not include the many households where people are able to gain extra income from cooking food and inviting visitors to stay at their homes. The tourism direct gross value added, or its immediate contribution to the economy. The size of the tourism industry in the Philippines was valued at 982.4 billion in 2014, outperforming our initial target again of 835.4 billion. And most impressive of all, therefore, the tourism industry's share to the gross domestic product is estimated at 7.8% in 2014. Again, already surpassing our target for 2015. By the way, if you're wondering, how did we do this with arrivals at only roughly 5 million? You do that by making sure that you have a sharper focus on more lucrative markets with longer stay. The average length of stay in the Philippines is now at 10.6 days. Our share to GDP of the 9.4% GDP growth in 2014, tourism accounted for 1.04 percentage points, outranking other sectors such as financial services, construction, communication, and even public utilities. You may want to see other milestones. I will just go through them very quickly. We actually are a very unique tourism industry in that we are very involved in the development of the Philippine Tourism Road Network. The Tourism Road Infrastructure Program, in terms of increasing access to our destinations, is a total of 60.48 billion pesos allocated and released for tourism infrastructure from fiscal years 2011 to 2015, which is 338% or 46.69 billion pesos higher than the 13.79 billion allocated from the years 2006 to 2010. It covers projects of over 2,500 roads and bridges, solely dedicated to tourism development. Our road infrastructure program would look like this. The areas in black are the 5 years previous to this administration, and as you can see, the difference is very marked. The relationship between local and national means that the work on national tourism roads has been so thorough that by 2016, it is anticipated that the only roads we will have left to build will be local roads. Major expansion of air services agreements. Again, our access. Now, if I may, I'd just like to zoom forward to just the summary. Sorry about this. From fiscal year 2010 to July 2015, in only 4.5 years, our cumulative international visitor arrivals have reached 24 million people. This is greater than the 22.64 million that took 9 years in the previous administration to reach. The next indicator is the Philippines has 1.7 trillion tourist receipts. International tourist receipts grew from 135.5 billion in 2010 to 274 billion in 2014, for a total of 1.7 trillion. Direct employment is at 4.7 million. And there is a 338% increase in the budget for roads and infrastructure. Why have I taken the time to take you through all of these statistics today? Again, I'm told very often, oh, you deliver these numbers to businessmen, to people who make decisions. And I insisted, I said, that's right. That's why I'm going to make this presentation today, because the people who are going to make the big decisions for tourism in the next 6 years are the people in this room. Many of them, or most of them I should say, will be women. And as I have said before, our dream is that 6 years from today, it is the men who will be organizing gender equality seminars. Because the power to decide comes from whoever builds the business. And you are in a very unique position to be the controllers, the people behind the growth of the third largest, possibly in 6 years, the second largest industry in the Philippines, Philippine tourism. I encourage you, therefore, to take the controls, speak up, and remember, on your way up, that we men help you too. Maraming salamat po.